Hey there team, and welcome to a 2v4 on Thranduil's Halls. So what we've got here is a kind of themed battle with the orcs of the Misty Mountains. So lots of mountain orcs and urks siding with the wild men of the mountains, taking the form, well, today of Rhudaur and Dunland, as we try to strike, ignore this little shenanigans in the center here. I think this was a terrible misclick, but you know, shenanigans are occurring. But hey, anyway, we will actually slow him down. No, yeah, we'll slow him down a bit because we actually do kick off quite soon after that. And we've got two Lothloriens on the defense. So it is sort of the mountain men and orcs and urks striking down on some elven strongholds, so perhaps not Thranduil's halls. But we'll start from our armies. So Grizzly Fox here playing as the orcs of Misty Mountains. He's got his gobble infantry there, heavy goblin infantry, and a nice swarm of heavy goblin infantry, snag of skirmishers, and yes, that's that. Heavy goblin crossbows and blackback mountain berserkers. Then Infinity here, he's got his Rhudaur swordsman, Rhudaur axeman, some cave troll drummers there from Grizzly Fox, double Rhudaur swordsman and double Emor troll hunters, some snow trolls there from Grizzly, and two cave trolls. Oh no, sneeze, hold fire. Nope, white orc fearmonger is good. I'm not going to sneeze. Myself there, I've got my two cave trolls. I'm actually going to have to slow down a little bit more. Oh my goodness me. I've got my double cave trolls and my cave troll drummers. We got started a little bit sooner than I expected, so that's why it's taken me by surprise. Goblin infantry mixing up with some heavy goblin spears and snagga stalkers, of course. More heavy goblin spears, good AP. And heavy goblin archers, two of them. What I really wanted to do today was not have a single uruk. So there's nothing uruk in my army. It's all gobos, snagga, and trolls. So always wanted to do something like that, and I felt since we've got a 2v4, like I'll be a bit more fluffy with my army. In front of me, I've got the Dunland pikeman of Medieval Feud. He's got some Bane Guard there, half orc Bane Guard. Then Dunlanding veterans and more half orc Spear Guard. Half orc Spear Guard again, and snagga skirmishers. So we're going to get a lot of snagga floating about today. In front of them, we've got the Dunland Pikes leading the way. These Kindred are still standing around, but they're running away. And Rhudaur Swordsmen and more Rhudaur Swordsmen. So, yep, we can see here these Lothlorien Swordmasters and the Kindred of Celeborn. Further back, we've got some Spears of the Wood there. Spears of the Wood again, some more Spears of the Wood. Lothlorien Spearmen there, and the Caris Galadron's Guardians. Lothlorien Spears again, Lothlorien Swordmasters again, and March Wardens of the Wood on this ridge. Lothlorien Archers, this is all played by Nicholas Paolo, 88. Lothlorien Archers down the slope here. Lothlorien Spears, anything else hidden around? Nope. Lothlorien Spearmen, Lothlorien Axemen. Then we start getting into his ally, Mighty Merkel. He's got his Kindred, Lothlorien Warriors, and Riders of the Golden Wood. Double Swordmasters, Axemen, Watch the Golden Wood, Protectors, Woodland Protectors, and Lothlorien Archers. Karen Amroth Rangers, and Lothlorien Archers. On this slope here, he's got some Lothlorien Warriors with their big, nice looking axes. So, good. That's us. We'll start up there then. Yes, initial plan, as always, just get on down, get my archers up there, get some spears to watch out for any cavalry attacks or any sallies, and just use up the enemy ammunition. Getting my cave trolls up, I tried to basically run my cave trolls up just to smash some Kindred that extended out past us. We were a bit unsure about what was going on there. We were still sort of in the grace period, and yeah, but these sorts of confusions happen. So when he started to run them away, we let him get off. And it was pretty, you know, because it would have been a bit cheeky just to wipe out all those Kindred right off the bat. And shuffling around, we have a lot of numbers. Like, you know, we've lost this good bit of, you know, quite a lot of men there, but we've not lost a single percentage point yet, so that's quite nice. A lot of heavy goblin infantry, for myself. I think I've got 4 or 5 units. I think I've got 5 units heavy goblin infantry. In addition to that, I've got my 2 units of standard goblin infantry, which I think you can get for 50 florins, or 50 coins. So I think it's very worth to just grab 2 of them. Why not? And I decided to go for the heavy goblin archers today instead of the crossbowmen. Generally, just because I wanted to. You know, I just felt I would feel better using them and get a bit more range from them too. Infinity is coming forward too. I would really we maybe should have been coordinating a bit more in these early stages. Really let the Mountain Orcs get forward first, because the Rhudaur axemen may not be of any exceptional quality, but they're definitely of lower quality than my heavy goblin infantry. And I would really much prefer to see my goblin infantry take fire rather than these axemen of Rhudaur. We'll jump up to 2 times speed as we continue to move on forward. Really just swarming across here. Nice spears from the half-orc spear guards. Some of our highest quality men on the field today. We really are heavy numbers armies. A lot of poison arrows coming in. We're not too worried about that. My heavy goblin infantry and my spearmen that are moving up there both actually have some quite good armor values. So if he really wants to be throwing arrows at me, I'm content with that. You know, I've got lots of numbers and I've got some decent armor, so let him do it. Much rather me than some of our better units later on. These Dunland pikes, I think it is probably a little bit too early to be having them approaching, but yeah, because they are dropping quite quick there to the fire of the elves. By the way, we are getting them to use up this valuable ammunition that they have, because this will be their Lothlorien, the best archer faction in the game, I feel. So we need to get them to use it up. Medieval Feud is blocking up this area and receiving a few up and over shots. That's really not too much of an issue to these spear guard. Oh god, he's unpleasant looking, isn't he? But yeah, the half orcs. I definitely do think the half orcs look a bit scarier than standard orcs. But yeah, that might just be me. A lot of arrow fire coming in here, up to my my Rhudaur swordsman. Sorry, not my Rhudaur swordsman. The last battle I did was I played as Rhudaur, so I'm confusing myself. My heavy goblin spears are taking shots to the back. That's not really very good. I had to run them up here just because I was a bit worried that we didn't have enough spearmen protecting us. A lot of poison arrow fire now. Oh dear, so many trees. Yeah, coming into these Dunland pikes. If these Dunland pikes, under normal circumstances, if they were able to organise properly and not receive so much arrow fire, they'd be quite a good unit to use to just whittle down into the Lothlorien warriors. But as it stands, they're not really being allowed to do that. Infinity is coming up here to slice into the Lothlorien warriors again, but they're receiving shots to the back by these high damage elven arrows, and that is going to be hurting them really bad. Those heavy shields that the Rhudaur swordsmen use can actually keep them quite safe from arrow fire, but of course that's not coming into play when you're being shot in the back. I've got my troll drummers moved up forward. If they really want to be shooting at my troll drummers, I'm happy. Like, that range, you know, they've got a lot of hit points. I'm not really that bothered about using them in melee, and as long as there's 1 or 2 of them in the unit, they still provide the same morale buff. So, yep, shoot them if you want. Pincushion my trolls. And we're responding to that by, that definitely was arrow fire. Wasn't from a snag. Okay, good, it's me. I think I've got my archers here shooting through the trees, wanting to really just target the enemy Lothlorien archers here, and of course the rangers as well, which Mirko is opening up with. Luckily, it looks like we're getting his archers are, I think his rangers are sort of shooting through the snagga. Yeah, I tried to move my snagga up, but poor boys were just taking so much fire. So I think I just pulled them back and left Grizzly Fox to try and lead the way with his. Firing into the Lothlorien warriors. They've got some decent armor on them. Unlike Mirkwood, the high elves of Lothlorien. I'm thinking, are they high elves? Or maybe I'm just, yeah, because I guess, yeah, no, hard to say. Lothlorien warriors, anyway, have got a good bit of armor on them, even if they don't have that shield. So they can take my lower damage arrows all day. This is really where I'm kind of kicking myself. I really should have brought some crossbowmen. Heavy Goblin Infantry from Grizzly Fox. We're not really too worried if our Heavy Goblin Infantry starts taking fire. That is their purpose. Nicholas he's fallen back to here, which I understand. You know, if you take this ridge line, even though it is a lot thinner, you can sort of get shot a bit easier, and also we might be able to position something there. No, I don't think. I think the only person that could make that shot would be a Hyrenian Ranger, and I don't think we have any Hyrenian Rangers on the field today. Heavy Goblin Spears moving up to block this now as the half-orcs have moved out of the way. We really need that blocked up. Let's zoom on in and see how that goes. So I've sent forward my first unit of Heavy Goblin Infantry just to provide a bit of mass to this front line, apply a bit more pressure here, and back up the Dunland Pikes and the Rhudaur Swordsmen for what little assistance I may be. Mainly, if nothing else, I'm positioning my goblins behind them to take arrow fire. Good axe throwing coming in there. This is a great use of their axes. Lothlorien warriors may have some decent armor, but those axes do so much damage that it doesn't really matter. They're going to be dropping quite hard. They are receiving a lot of fire though. Heavy Goblin crossbows from Grizzly Fox are there, and we have I'd like to say we've evened it out. We're quite a bit behind, about 5%, but that's kind of where you expect to be in these early stages of a siege. Rhudaur Axemen leading the charge here now, and I think we've decided to rush on up and clash with Nicholas. Mainly led by the wild men of Dunland and Rhudaur, but backed up by some goblins from Grizzly Fox too. Coming smashing into the spears off the wood, their militia. But, yeah, so the Rhudaur Axemen definitely hopefully won't be targeting them. We'd want to be using the Rhudaur Axemen for more of the Lothlorien warriors. We do have that I love the style of the Lothlorien units. My Goblin Infantry are hiding here, just trying to gain some endurance back after the run up here. Spears are still winded, but they won't be getting thrown in the fight for a little while. Coming on forward. Ooh, getting a little bit of friendly fire there into the backs of the Dunland forces, but most of it is coming into the elves. I was very happy to see the Kirin Amroth Rangers pulling out their swords and getting sent forward into melee. Now that they were sort of finished up, that's always a great sign. Javelins coming in though. Oh god, so much fire, isn't it? I don't know how that comes across in images, but it would be cool to just get a nice shot of just a mass volley of arrows. Watch of the Golden Wood coming up. That's not something you want to see. And the Woodland Protectors have arrived too, so that's going to be a lot of damage for our front line. But these initial assaults up against the elves, especially up against the elves of Lothlorien, are more to just try to tease as much ammunition out of them as you can, and rather than really kill stuff. But we are damaging our way through the front line, so it is serving a purpose. My Snaga I tried to pop up again, but once again my Snaga were zeroed in on, and I've taken a lot of casualties from them, so I'm trying to hide them for now. We are pushing, and we've made some good ground, as you can see. Oh dear, it's lagging a little bit. Yep, it's lagging quite a bit. Let's slow it on down. I think it's just because I'm on some pretty high graphics here, higher than I normally would do. But the Axemen and Goblin Infantry are pressing in pretty deep to this quite thin Lothlorien front line, which is holding quite nicely for now. Grizzly Fox has maybe got his Troll Drummers a little bit too deep. We need their morale buff for a little bit longer. We shouldn't really be using them like that, but all the way along the line though, the elves of Lothlorien are holding, and the wild man attack is being repulsed. But with no reinforcements, the Karis Galadron Guardians have been sent up there, but with no reinforcements, they will not last forever, because our reinforcements are gonna keep on coming. Spearmen still winded. Not really what you want to see. I've got my Cave Troll Drummers right behind the front line now, just to keep this attack going for as long as possible, and also, once again, if they want to shoot at me, I'm happy enough with that. A lot of arrows coming into the Lothlorien archers there, so we're killing a few more of them off. Don't really want to be firing into the woodland protectors just because they have a shield. They may have lighter armor, but I just don't really want to be using my ammunition like that. But yeah, we are breaking through little by little. Not really committing to a major push here. We're just trying to wear them down. Heavy goblin infantry, even if they're killing off sort of, you know, you really per unit, you'd be kind of happy with say 30, 40 kills up against these elves. You'd want a lot more than that, of course, but you don't need too much for them to pay for themselves in this sort of scenario. But even these rangers are going to be cutting a lot of my heavy goblin infantry down. They're wavering there, and this is with, of course, the trolls standing right behind them. Axe throwers there receiving a javelin volley as they charge on forward. A lot of my cave troll drummers very bloodied, but still drumming. They still have the music in their hearts. Black wolves arriving now. Nice 2 hit points. Definitely a pretty damn good unit. I like them a lot, but I don't make too much use out of them. I really prefer to go for the cheaper, you know, I think the standard Rhudaur swordsman and the Rhudaur axeman are good enough. And I really would prefer to just get more units of them rather than use the black wolves. Cave trolls of Grizzly Fox coming in now alongside the snow trolls, and he's going hard on that right flank and really blitzing through it. But as is what you'll always get with a lot of trolls. So I take mine on the left here, and I'm kind of wanting to go toe to toe with these guardians. Now the guardians are pikemen, and I kind of just felt, okay, like pikemen don't usually do too well up against trolls. I know that they're the best of the best when it comes to pikes, but let's just see how this goes. So I'm having them slam in there alongside a unit of heavy goblin spears, just trying to overwhelm them and blitz through. But my poor trolls are taking a real beating there. They're not heavily armored, those trolls, so it's not like I'm throwing in all like high or anything like that. It's quite far from it. So we're sort of pushing in around them, trying to swamp them, taking out a few of them, but I realised quite quickly that's not going too well. Let's just try to silence the March Wardens, kill off some of them instead. We've got no pushing in through the centre. We didn't really want to pressure... why didn't we pressure everywhere at once? That was probably... yeah, we probably should have, actually, because we definitely had the numbers for it. I think it's just usually you're used to the centre being such a nice place to defend, so you don't want to go for it. But hey. Anyway, Black Wolves here have arrived, and we are having some good victory here. Up against the Lornand Axeman. Oh gosh, he's very bloody right now. Definitely the Kirin Amroth Rangers are sort of sword masters in melee. They'll be, as all Rangers are, in a sense, they'll be parrying away a lot of those heavy stone axe strikes, but we can whittle them down. Axe is still coming into the woodland protectors, but as I say, that shield is going to be helping them out. What we've got on the walls here, Watchers of the Golden Wood holding their fire, alongside some, no, those are all just Watchers. I thought some of them might have been Kindred of Celeborn, but no, that's it. Okay, so I sent my trolls in here, yeah, so I saw a good opportunity to mix it up with the Rise of the Golden Wood, and I'm just sort of bashing through them. Now, of course, I get an anti-cavalry bonus in this fight, now that the Watchers of the Golden Wood have appeared, but I was just sort of stuck in there, and I thought, right, okay, now just see how many of these Rise of the Golden Wood we can really kill, and see if that'll help us out. But they're, of course, these 2 hit points riders. They're quite sturdy, and they're withstanding my attacks there quite nicely. But I think I've done okay with that. I don't think I regret charging them, but I did hope to do a bit more damage than I ended up doing, especially now that the Kindred and the Watchers of the Golden Wood from Nicholas have come forward and wiped me out. So that was really our only major break in the line, but we pushed up through there, and I managed to get my heavy goblin archers here and point blanking the Karas Galadron Guardians. Now that they've got some sturdy armor, but I felt at this range I was happy enough just striking them down. Trying to run up my my Snagas as well, my Snaga skirmishers, just to do this with AP and heavier damage. Over there, some cave troll drummers from Grizzly. They're still around. Grizzly's cave trolls are actually still alive altogether. maybe what I should have done was grabbed mine and sent them over here too, and just absolutely blitzed this. With 4 units of trolls, and the cave trolls, and the unit of snow trolls too, we could have absolutely demolished that position. A little bit of a movement out. I think this might have been a misclick from Nicholas, but we're going to be dealing with it with the Dunlanding veterans and some axes coming in, even the Black Wolves too, from Medieval Feud. Just mincing through that. The captain there, sort of a white, looks like an enslaver, I'm pretty sure. Trollshire axe throwers still around, alongside some more Black Wolves. Great stuff. Yeah, this is definitely what you want to see. The axes coming in. Lothlorien archers. Normally, I'm never too big a fan of like shooting at archers, but when it comes to elven archers, who are really quite effective in a fight, you know, these Lothlorien archers can kill most of my men in a 1-to-1 engagement. So I'm happy enough to see this sort of thing, and I've been doing it myself with my heavy goblin archers. More heavy goblin infantry coming forward now. This is a fresh unit of them, alongside some of these half-orc spear guard there. But in reserve, our reserves are running kind of thin now. I've got my heavy goblin infantry marching on forward. Yeah, a lot of my heavy goblin infantry. The Bane Guard, some of my standard goblin infantry now too. But apart from that, yeah, we're pretty barren over here. We've kind of been throwing all ourselves in there, and we're at 44 for 42. So we are a bit behind, but not so much. My snag of skirmishers, this avenue ended up getting closed to me, so I pulled my archers back, and I decided to stop pushing my snagas forward. This counter charge was actually a really good idea, as this side broke. Nicholas got his men around, and they've sort of totally surrounded our attack, and really just neutered it. So we need to rethink how we're wanting to approach that, and try to use up a lot of our ammunition just to make that worth it. Hopefully those Snaga come back from Grizzly, but I think they've probably used up their ammunition, so they're not so worth anything. I've got my bodyguard here. Yep, this is my bodyguard alongside my general, fighting with the Rhudaur swordsman at his side. That definitely wasn't my general. Dropped. Couldn't say. I think it might have been Infinity's general. We are tearing into the Lothlorien axemen little by little, until they get some good fire on us or get a proper infantry elite. We should be winning that engagement. Snag of skirmishers over here, throwing off into the approaching Spears of the Wood. So Nicholas had some good success, and he's charging on further down, which our real power, as I say now, it's coming from our skirmishers. So answering us like this is a great idea, and just getting those poor snag of skirmishers chased away. And this is when the Riders of the Golden Wood as well start charging on down, and we don't really have an answer to that. We don't have any wargs on the field, so they can really run freely until either the more troll hunters get some javelins in them, or we can shoot them down with crossbows, because just standard archers will not be enough. Good axe fire coming in there, even though it's coming in front of these Lothlorien spears with their heavy shields. It's still good. You know, it's all we can really do. Over on this side, the help of my cave troll drummers, my infantry swarm is holding the attack. Lothlorien swordmasters coming up, great counter I think to the Black Wolves. But still, they'll take some casualties from that. The 2 hit point Black Wolves are there. Yeah, I'm still firing into the. What am I firing into? I couldn't really say. That definitely wasn't me. This little defensive barricade in front of the Watch, the Golden Wood, is really keeping them safe, so we can't really target them right now. But every bolt is counting at this time. Heavy Goblin Spears coming up now, just to clatter into the Lothlorien Spearmen there. We want to break through this if we can, and sort of open up a new avenue, because the right side, as I say, is collapsing. I've got my Heavy Goblin Infantry arriving again. Oh no, sneeze. Goblin King Bodyguard there. Once again, still fighting alongside his Rhudaur swordsman, killing our way through the militia of Mirkwood. But no militia of Lothlorien there. And the Karis Galadron Guardians being pikemen don't really want to be fighting on that sort of slant. I tried to get my skirmishers around just to hurl some javelins into them, and Infinity is doing the same with his much more powerful javelins. So that's very good to see. Let's go back up to 1 time speed now. My bodyguard have spread out around this formation, which is kind of what I want, because I say any sort of fight where I'm fighting 1-to-1 with these Goblin King bodyguard is a fight we're sort of winning. And I want to just hold this attack going and just kill off a few more of the elves. Well, we're at 53 for 53, so we're perfect at this time, percentage wise that is. But we are out of trolls. What we're not out of are javelins, and 8 more troll hunters have arrived to continue to hurl. Ah, damn, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, so much fire is just going into this little defense here, and those watchers are still standing. Not too much left here for Mirko, but he does have some stuff in reserve there, some men in reserve. A lot of fire coming up and over. When it's coming from, oh no, it's not even coming from up and over. A lot of it is coming straight into the back of these poor axe throwers from Medieval Feud, who is really pressuring this centre position now. But this entire attack is being held up by 2 units of Lothlorien spears. Going this way, yeah, the militia are failing now. And until they get something of real substance there, we're going to be pushing on through. Good axe fire there. Lothlorien archers in the back. What else do they have? They've got the watchers there, so once they use up their ammunition, this is definitely something that can stop us. And there's the kindred there too. So there are 2 good quality units, and my bodyguard are not going to be able to go toe to toe with all that. Not as they've been fighting for so long. Heavy goblin infantry from Grizzly. But we can just keep the enemy back and stab away at them. The axes should hopefully do their work. And take out all of these swordmasters. It's the little victories that are hopefully going to be mounting up here. Lothlorien swordmasters standing their ground really quite well up against my heavy goblin infantry. We're just not able to deal enough damage, and we're not able to really get through their armor or their defensive skill. So they're not really suffering too many casualties from my little heavy goblin infantry, who they are holding back without issue. The Black Wolves there, we're really just providing a bit of mass and helping out the Black Wolves. Taking a stab for a Black Wold is a worthy goal for a heavy goblin infantryman. Yeah, some of these guys, they're wavering, so I'm just wanting to keep them back, trying to get them their energy back. It's something I've been trying to experiment a bit with recently when it comes to siege attacks. You know, not just sort of throwing a unit back in after it routs, just having it sit there for a minute. See if you can get it to go back up from exhausted to anything else, really. Infinity's Fraudrum Javelins, they're taking a beating. 2 hit points, so they won't die too quick to that arrow fire, even if they are very poorly armoured. More javelin fire coming in. But it's just quite good because the elves are so skilled and they're so high quality here. They're able to hold back our attack without really blobbing up. And if they were blobbing up a bit more, our ranged units could be doing so much more damage to them. So it's quite frustrating. What do I have in the back here? Some snack of skirmishers still able to use their javelins. So I'm just trying to concentrate on one side here. See, even in my mind, the Lothlorien archers are a worthy target for my javelins there. But I see this as an opportunity, and I'd really like to bring these skirmishers around. I'd have to tighten up their spacing, of course, but I could fit them in there, and that would be a much better target for me. March Wardens are running on around, and the Riders of the Golden Wood are following them too. What have I still got in reserve? Probably not too much. Some heavy goblin infantry that started routing are being marched on back forward. I'm not really wanting to run them forward, they're already shaken. Need them to get up there amongst the cave troll drummer. Medieval Feud with his nice damaging crossbows from the Spears of Orthanc. Great stuff to try and counter the Karis Galadriel Guardians with. So I see that, and I need to just hold the line for a little bit longer with my poor gobos. Because we just need to do some more damage to these Karis Galadriel Guardians, and I think the Spears of Orthanc are the perfect unit to do that with. But I think that's me broken there. Troll shot axe throwers are in their way. I think I've got this unit. Oh no, sorry, this unit here. They were resting, but I had to stop that rest, as we cannot have these guardians run on down and interrupt the spears of Orthanc. Still 9 cave troll drummers, so you can see kind of what I mean when I say like I don't mind them being shot at. They can kind of just resist it, and of course they're a much smaller unit than the image, well, than the model makes them seem. So I managed to get, oh no, sorry, I didn't manage to do it. Grizzly Fox sort of came around to make use of this area, but he's getting, once again, he's getting shot to pieces. And are we about to see it? No, don't think so. Heavy Goblin Infantry alongside the Bane Guard. So the Bane Guard are a pretty damn good unit. Definitely they can receive an armor upgrade, so that is pretty beneficial for them. Definitely sort of benefiting from the links to Isengard. Watch the Golden Wood. Oh god, such high damage fire, such accurate fire too. You can see the snack getting thrown around there. Poor boys. Lucky for us, none of them are sort of getting thrown up and thrown over the side and sort of glitching out the unit, because that would really be terrible. So I did manage to get my my skirmishers around here, but I think I was maybe a bit too greedy. I was definitely a bit too greedy, because they have been responded to by the Riders of the Golden Wood, and Mirko is going to continue because he's got skirmishers there, and there's nothing else around. We don't have any spears around. We don't have any really high damage javelins, so he is able to just run on down and start chasing these poor boys away, which leaves our front line on the right side unsupported. 8 more troll hunters are there. We could maybe use them to try and counter it, but they were just sort of being held in reserve. We don't want to just shove men in the front line for the sake of it. Set my heavy goblin spears here just to try and hold back the Lothlorien forces and allow the axes to do a bit more damage. Fighting alongside some of my heavy goblin archers who have been cast aside as well. Crossbows have come on forward to fight alongside my infantrymen, just keeping this guardian force back. God dang it, the woodland protectors still throwing their javelins. So much ammunition being sent back and forth during this battle. It was absolutely insane. I was really quite impressed with the cave troll drummers. I don't usually use them, but of course this is a very different way to how I normally will make my Orcs the Misty Mountain army. You know, normally I will make a lot of use of the Orcs, the White Orc Fearmongers, the Black Orcs of the Mountain and such. So, oh god, no, another rout. So I don't have as much of a need for the cave troll drummers. Just like now, I've sort of lost my need for them. That was the last of my infantrymen used up. Sorry about that, burping into the mic, that didn't sound nice. The last of my infantrymen are running away there. So I've just sent forward my cave troll drummers to try and hold them back a little bit longer. And just see if we can kill off a few, but there's not too much that I'm really holding them back for, as the charge has continued and we're seeing a lot of breaking here. It's been stabilized by the White Orc Fearmongers, some of my men here, but mainly Grizzly Fox sending in his last wave. But with a lot of these Goblin Infantry just running through past him. Oh, Kindred of Celeborn on flat ground. If the Kindred went right into the face of the White Orc Fearmongers, my money would kind of be on the Fearmongers. But no, maybe not. But not at full health anyway. But still, they would definitely mince their way through a lot of them. A lot of fire, hopefully coming from crossbows. Yes, good stuff, Grizzly. Using his crossbows to kill off some of these elite units of Lothlorien. But the momentum is with the defenders, and they are making good use of it as they continue to charge down and just break our poor morale units over and over. And that's my men sort of getting pretty exhausted at this point. I think the vast majority of them will be, perhaps not the cave troll drummers, but yep, the centre I'm entirely busted out of. So these 8 more troll hunters still have some javelins to give, but they've had to be thrown into melee there, been caught up. Some, oh gosh. Ah, damn. I was probably hoping to send these guys in. And over here on the right, yeah, sorry, that was a Steam message. You don't get to see those messages, unfortunately, but hey. Snag of skirmishers there, grabbed by the Karis Galadron Guardians. They're not going to last too long. So we'll go over here where the last of the fighting really is, and just sort of settle up with 2 times speed. So what do we end up with? About 76, which I'm comfortable with. I think I definitely went into this fight thinking, oh, it's a 2v4. We're gonna be fine. We'll be golden. We can walk into this with our with our decks hanging out and we'll win. But that was not the case. I think we were all a bit too cocky about this fight, and we were made to pay for it, for sure. I was happy enough with my army composition. I really wish I could go back and have taken the heavy goblin crossbows instead, because there was so many times where I was getting what I felt was actually quite decent targets. So that's good. Got the Blackback Mountain Berserkers coming forward now, where I felt I was getting quite decent targets, but I'll probably just hover over there so you can see sort of how it develops. I think I was getting some quite good shots, but it just wasn't really paying off because of my lower damage. I think I was walking into this and I was treating Lothlorien as if they were Mirkwood. And Lothlorien, they do have good armor. Well, they do have some pretty decent armor values. And my heavy goblin archers just weren't able to make it through them. So, no, had I brought some crossbows instead, that could have been useful. You'll also see afterward, there was one poor skirmisher unit that just didn't really use any of its ammunition. Maybe, I think it got like 2 full volleys off. So, that was a shame. Definitely could have done a bit more killing with that. But apart from that army composition, it was a lot of fun. I like to use heavy goblin infantry. I use quite a lot of them, and I definitely think that they needed a buff, which they've received in the form of a lower cost, which that's something that I'm a big fan of. So he admitted defeat there. He could have killed a good few more of them, but we were happy enough with 80% casualties. Don't look at this. I think something happened and like Grizzly and I like swapped names. I don't know, there's a weird glitch that I heard about. I read about it on the forums and it was like, yeah, sometimes, they'll just swap, so don't worry, I think I got the 800 kills. Goblin King Bodyguard there, 76. I was happy enough with how I used them. They were used at an okay time for me, but we could see this swarm of my heavy goblin infantry. 1 kill, that is very upsetting, but it's to be expected, I think. My poor goblin infantry were shot up a lot, javelined up, facing off against sword masters. I'm generally happy enough with how I did. I think that I was really the pincushion for our army. I think we all got pincushioned a lot, but I think I definitely took a lot of fire. So I'm content. I would have loved to have seen them all get 20 kills, but yeah, 18 is about as good as I'm getting. That's crazy. And 1, ouch, that's insane. Goblin infantry there, about the same. Can't expect too much more from them. Goblin spears though, 40. Yeah, that's not too bad. But you can really sort of see where the armor piercing comes into effect there. But still 19 for the other. Those guys aren't too cheap. Cave troll drummers, I was allowing them to get shot to pieces, and then of course I sent them in to fight guardians. So that's okay. The standard cave trolls there, I definitely think it was worth. Toward the end of that fight, when I did see how they used their horsemen, I think it was definitely a worthy target to try and stop them from being able to do that. Now, of course, I didn't succeed, but I was okay. I killed a few of them. Would have made it a bit easier for us to counter them, but we just were caught we were caught sleeping with that. 65 from my heavy goblin archers and 64. So I was okay with that. Like I think it was pretty decent, but I definitely could have grabbed I definitely could have grabbed a crossbow instead, and I should have done that. My Snaga, you can see one of them got 93, and had I used the other one properly, had I not let them get chased off as easily, then that would have been great. Grizzly there, nice stuff from his berserkers. Of course, they could have gotten a lot more kills. The crossbows, yeah, you can see. So like 135, and anything over 100, I feel is fantastic in this sort of confrontation. So I would really wished, like, if my 2 units of archers had been getting those sorts of kills instead, that could have maybe changed some things. He went for the triple skirmisher, which I think is a pretty decent idea, but of course one of them got chased off. That just sort of happens. The snow trolls there, cave troll drummers, 6 kills, but they were sent in last, and they're not really built for combat. Snow trolls there, 68, pretty solid, and 100 for the cave trolls, pretty good. Fearmongers there went up against the elite of Lothlorien, so that's okay. And it was on very sort of slanted ground. He got pretty similar with his heavy goblin infantry. 26 is pretty good, but yeah, 7 is unfortunately, maybe not. And then the double standard goblin infantry. As for medieval feud, yeah, awesome stuff with the Guards of Orthanc, not the Guards of Orthanc, the Spears of Orthanc. I think they did very nice. It's tough to build a Dunland army because of course they're not as competitive as others. I'm really glad that they're in the game. Of course, it adds a bit of flavor to it, and it's just nice. And but yeah, so he did good with that. We really should have pressured that center point. I think that was a big screw up on our part, but hey, that's not on him. That's on all of us. Infinity there too. Yeah, good stuff with just generally the throwing axes and the troll hunters all round. Yeah, no complaints with all that. I think it was some damn good fighting. Maybe I don't know if it was feud or infinity. I didn't notice it at the time, but there was a lot of ammunition that went into it. Was trying to come into the Watchers of the Golden Wood, but it was just hitting the hillside and hitting that little defensive wooden wall. So that was a shame. But that once again, that wouldn't have won us anything. But yeah, Nicholas. I remember because there was a bit of a disagreement at the start between Nicholas and Mirko. They were a bit there was, I think there was maybe a bit of what I'm going to classify as a bit of banter, but I think it was maybe a little bit rough between the two of them. And I was glad to see that they did come together, because at the start of the battle there was definitely a lot of disagreement, definitely a lot of shenanigans, but they pulled it together and they won, so it was really impressive. Nicholas there had a pretty light front line on the right, and that's why we went really hard on the right side, and we did almost break through, but some reinforcements from Mirko and of course Nicholas bringing forward his like elites and such definitely organised it, so that was impressive. It was some good use of those units, and the flanking around to just dismantle, like once the right side of our push disappeared, just flanking around and dissolving that was really good. And yeah, Mirko very stubbornly holding the left flank, taking a lot of our fire, trusting his men's ability to do that is very good. And of course the cavalry, the use of the cavalry was nice toward the end. But anyway, this was definitely not my finest hour, as I say with my, but I'd like to think that I was definitely serving a purpose with being a bit pincushion, but I think this was definitely where I let my kind of lore aspect or kind of more fluffy side of it get affecting my army composition. But even had I taken that same army again, I just slowed down and used our ammunition. I think because we had so much ammunition left to send, and we just went a bit too hard, a bit too fast, and we should have just slowed. Like that was definitely a screw up on our part. Just take it slower, keep our boys safe, but and just throw some stuff at them. I think I was sending forward my infantry far too uselessly. I should have just sent forward a unit of heavy goblin infantry and then just let us shoot like crazy at the front line. Then when they're gone, send forward another one. But I was sending forward 2 at a time, and I was like, I think I was expecting so much more from my infantry than would have been possible from them for the standpoint of a little heavy goblin infantryman and even the spears. But anyway, all in all, it was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy this one. Nice evening battle. It's definitely tough to show it sometimes because of the trees. maybe the next time I want to, maybe let me know, because the next time I want a Thranduil's battle, when I do it, I might lower the graphics off the trees to basically allow you to see more of what's going on. I know it makes the trees not look very nice, but you can see what's going on past it. So maybe leave a comment if you're still watching this video. Would you prefer I still keep it looking really nice with the really nice trees, or would you prefer I lower the graphics of the trees so that you can see what's going on a bit better? But yeah, thanks so much, guys. See you later.